Thank you. Everyone can be seated. Now they tell me I only have 3 minutes, and I don't think I've ever talked for only 3 minutes, but I'm in my 6th term as state's attorney here in Will County, and I've considered it an honor and a privilege to be able to lead the fight to end violence against women. In 1992, when I first became state's attorney, the next year I started the Domestic Violence Commission. And that was as a result of a law that was passed in 1990, making domestic battery a crime for the first time. And that commission met every month for about 8 years, and it involved social workers, psychiatrists, law enforcement personnel, and we came together and tried to find solutions. We did publish a protocol that was available to all the police officers at that time to explain to them what the new law meant and how they had to enforce it. And if they did the investigation properly, I made a commitment that we would charge the cases, which we have done. One of the problems we've had since that time to the present is empowering women to come to court after the charges are filed. There are so many pressures that are brought to bear on the victims of domestic violence, psychological, financial, physical threats that continue throughout the process, which many times causes the victim not to come to court. And I'm working on a program right now with Ina Skidlesa at Groundwork, and let me just tell you how wonderful Groundwork is. Rebecca Mercado was one of the victims that we worked with, and she went to Springfield with me to amend the aggravated battery statute and add torture to the aggravated battery statute as an enhancing factor, because she was beaten for 24 hours before the Joliet Police Department rescued her. Her husband went to prison for that. She went through Joliet Junior College's nursing program. Now she's a nurse and she's raising her 3 kids. She's a true success story. But again, this is a problem that just requires additional resources, which I think we're going to be able to do. In 1999, I came up with a concept called the Victim Independence Program, the VIP program, where we would help the victim of domestic violence with daycare, with employment, with a place to live, daycare, transportation, all of the things that she wouldn't be able to do, at least in the first year, away from the abuser. Because it's such a repressive environment in most cases. He controls all the finances. Her name's not on the checkbook, her name's not on the title to the house. He has the insurance. It's a disaster for her to just walk out. And I think we've come to grips with that. So we have to provide these additional resources, and I'm really anxious to see how that will be. On another note, is there anybody here that walked in the very first Take Back the Night march in 1997? I remember walking around downtown Joliet in the pitch dark, and we had candles, and we weren't quite sure where we were going, and it was, our very first foray into this. But obviously, each and every year, the women that chair this committee and work on it have made it bigger and better, and we've had tremendous speakers throughout the years to really bring to the fore just the evil of domestic violence. I remember as a little boy, my dad told me, "You never hit a woman," and it's not just that simple, of course, but you don't pick on people who are weaker than you. You don't pick on people that you can overpower. Nothing makes me angrier than that. You're a real coward if you do that. And so every domestic abuser is a coward. But back in 1995, I saw a grant for a specialized domestic violence prosecutor. We got that grant, and Judge Haas cooperated, and we started our first specialized domestic violence court, which we've had since 1995. And it's done an excellent job. But now we have a staff that involves a number of very skilled social workers for counseling purposes throughout the process. And we do everything we can to make it safe for the victim to come and testify, to get a conviction so we can stop the abuse. And finally, abuser counseling is absolutely essential, and we have that here in Will County. Sadly, this is learned behavior in many cases, and these men just don't understand that it's wrong. They grew up with it in their household, and they just think it's okay, which is the most abhorrent thing possible. So it's critical that we break through that. Substance abuse is obviously another factor. If substance abuse is a trigger, we've got to get that out of the man's life, or it's never going to stop. So we've got a whole number of solutions here that I've talked about that we're going to get expanded in the next couple of years. But I'm really anxious to get a few women into this VIP program and show that it can work and be a tremendous success in stopping the violence. At this point, Amir Abu Youssef is going to be your MC, and I'd like to bring her up to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Glasgow. It's just such a gift to have your support and your support of our domestic violence victims in our community. So again, another round of applause for our State's Attorney, Jim Glasgow. As he said, my name is Amir Abu Youssef, and on behalf of my co-chair, Catherine Adamowski, and the entire 2019 Take Back the Night Committee, it is my honor to welcome you all to our 23rd Take Back the Night event. I would like to ask all of our committee members to please stand. Thank you, committee, for so generously giving your time and talent to this year's event. They are truly a group of rock stars, and I really love getting together with them once a month, and we put on this amazing event, so I really like to thank the committee. We would also like to take some time to acknowledge our sponsors for this year's event. We have our premier event sponsor, Will County State's Attorney James W. Glasgow, Easy Auto Sales, Harris & Harris, and the Holly Club of Joliet. Our speaker sponsor is the Zonta Club of Joliet area. Platinum sponsor, Darcy Motors, and our gold sponsors, First Secure Community Bank of Joliet, Plainfield Junior Women's Club, State Representative Natalie A. Manley, and Grundy County Building and Trades Council. And then, of course, thank you to our generous silver and bronze sponsors whose names are included in our program booklet, and to our agencies represented here today. Thank you also to all of our in-kind sponsors. We are grateful for all of your donations. Their contributions not only support our event tonight, but allow us to give scholarships to survivors of gender-based violence, as well as provide donations to organizations in Will County who work with survivors every year. We would also like to take a moment to acknowledge our elected officials who are present today. We have Tyler Markham of the Will County Board. We have Pat McGuire, State Senator. Andrea Lynn Chasteen, Clerk of the Circuit Court. Herbert Brooks, Will County Board. John Connor, State Representative. Bill Foster, U.S. Congress. Beth Ann May, Joliet Township Clerk. Of course, James Glasgow, the Will County State's Attorney. Ray Solomon, Mayor of Crest Hill. Jennifer Jo Gavin, Joliet Park District. Bob Odekirk, Mayor of Joliet. Thank you for your support and for recognizing that gender-based violence is an important issue in our society. If by chance I miss any other elected officials, we apologize, but we thank you for being here with us today. Lastly, we want to thank all of you for joining us in supporting this cause. Our main objective is to bring survivors, supporters, activists, and community leaders together in a call to end violence against women. We want to create a greater awareness of violence against women in our community and educate the public about the attitudes and behavior that perpetuate this problem. So thank you all for being here. I now graciously turn it over to my co-chair, Catherine.
Thank you, Amira. Every year we like to honor someone who supports our committee's mission or helps us execute our event. This year, we honor Beth Colvin of Printing Plus Promotions Incorporated. Beth Colvin is not able to be here tonight, but she wanted to thank the Take Back the Night committee. She said, "I don't do this type of thing for personal acknowledgement. I just believe in and support Take Back the Night because it's the right thing to do." Beth has supported and volunteered with many social service agencies in our community, including Take Back the Night for the past 15 years. She and her husband, Bob, own a private printing company, which has allowed her to donate printing services, including the printing of postcards, purple ribbon campaign cards, posters, flyers, and program books, not just for Take Back the Night, but for other organizations in our area. Beth is the immediate past president of the Zonta Club of the Joliet area, and many of its members are on the Take Back the Night committee, and the club encourages its members to support and volunteer for this worthwhile cause. We thank Beth wholeheartedly for her unselfish service. Let's give her a round of applause. I would now like to welcome Katrina Nolan to the stage to present this year's scholarship award.
Good evening. Each year, the Take Back the Night Steering Committee awards a $1,000 scholarship to a local survivor of intimate partner abuse to help them obtain a post-secondary education. Often this educational opportunity affords them the chance to reshape their future by securing employment and gaining personal independence. We are pleased to honor this year's scholarship recipient, Kayla Granda. Kayla has faced many challenges in her life, the toughest being finding the strength to leave an abusive relationship. After taking a step away from her education to care for her family and to deal with the financial setbacks caused by leaving her abuser, Kayla is now enrolled in the Associate's Degree in Nursing program at Joliet Junior College. She has plans to pursue a bachelor's degree and specialize in pediatrics and emergency care. Nursing is a natural fit for Kayla, as she has a nurturing personality and is motivated by her own difficult experiences to help others. Her stepfather, John, says, Kayla is exceptionally gifted at making others feel comfortable and always maintains a positive attitude. In addition to attending school, Kayla also cleans homes for the elderly and babysits, all while caring for her own children as a single mother. After spending so much time serving others, it's time for Kayla to invest in herself. I applaud her decision for personal growth and achievement, says her stepfather. It's not an easy decision when she's a single mother and trying to run her own business as well. So at this time, please join me in congratulating Kayla Granda. And at this time, it's my honor to welcome Will County Circuit Clerk Andrea Lynn Chastain to the stage.
Hi, good evening. My name is Andrea Lynn Chastain. I'm the Will County Circuit Clerk over the courts. For the past 11 years, our office has been partnered up with Take Back the Night. We have been very fortunate enough because of our efforts to help with fundraising and to support a cause that is truly worth it. It is my honor to say that my staff and I have been able to raise $5,000 this year, and that brings our total that what we have done for the past 11 years over $50,000. Our office actually does handle a lot of the cases that do come through court. Not all are easy sometimes to watch, witness, and even participate in our own role within the courts. But it does affect us as well personally. We all have lives inside and outside of the office, and a lot of our staff members and many others in the county, along with many of you here tonight, have all been affected by domestic violence one way or another. I'm asking you guys today to help pledge to make sure that if you do see something, if people are acting inappropriately, or if there's something that you witness that's just not right or doesn't feel right, step in, ask, inquire. Many people just need that to say something and to start the process. Please refer them to our office to help get order protections, or to Jim's office to start some sort of a complaint process. It takes everyone to get involved to know what kind of services are out there, and I really pledge to everyone tonight here in the Take Back the Night Committee to have vendors out in the hallway to help make those kind of services known. So with further ado, I wanted to say to Amir and to Kathy, I would like to present you with the check, but I'm still talking. I wanted to say that I know you guys will spend it in the right way, and we are just so very fortunate to work with your office, or to work with all of you guys, and partner up for such a great cause. So I wanted to say thank you tonight for having me here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. In 2015, the Chicago Tribune ran a feature article titled, "Doctor's Guidebook Aimed at College-Bound Women," written about an Arlington Heights gynecologist who noticed an absence of information for young women preparing to live on their own for the first time. As she stated in the article, with statistics finding that an estimated 19% of college women have been the victim of an attempted or completed sexual assault, this is a significant problem. I heard so many stories from my patients over the years and realized there was a need for this kind of a book. So I started putting chapters together myself. Titled The Gyne's Guide for College Women, How to Have a Healthy, Safe, and Happy 4 Years, Dr. Scanlon's book covers topics ranging from defining oneself, reducing college stress, teenage dating violence, knowing one's boundaries, boosting self-esteem, how to say no, sexual assault prevention, the importance of self-defense, risk of alcohol use and the dangers of date-rape drugs, and healthy living habits. In addition to providing young women with a one-stop resource for how to navigate young adulthood, Dr. Scanlon joins us today as a practicing gynecologist since 1996, specializing in women's and adolescent health, and as the founder of Scanlon Works, with a mission to encourage young people to reach beyond what they think they are capable of, to do more than they believe possible. Her goal is to provide opportunities to young people to gain insight into their interests, abilities, and talents to reach their full potential. Dr. Scanlon offers Respect Yourself, Protect Yourself workshops aimed at college-bound young women and is a national speaker on women's health and safety. She has been featured on WGN, Good Day Chicago, The Morning Blend Milwaukee, ABC 7 News, Fox News, and many local and national radio talk shows. She joins us today to offer advice for survivors of teenage dating violence and domestic violence, including best practices and strategies for self-healing and safety after episodes of violence. We wholeheartedly welcome Dr. M. Susan Scanlon.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here tonight in such a special event. Thank you so much to Catherine and Amir and the entire Take Back the Night committee for inviting me to be part of your community. This event is so important. Violence against women, violence against people in all forms is, in my opinion, intolerable. And any event that brings awareness to that is completely worthwhile, and every effort and every donation. I've been a gynecologist for 23 years, and I've taken care of thousands of people in the age ranges all the way from adolescence through the 90s. In their 90s, I have a few women who are in their mid-90s. And I love being a doctor. It's such a privilege and an honor to participate in people's lives. And many of the things that I take care of in women's health are joyful. You know, delivering babies, and as they head off to college and they're all excited. Those are great things. But unfortunately, what people don't realize is that in gynecology, you take care of the people who have problems with violence. So sexual assault, domestic violence, those are things that I take care of. I've taken care of hundreds of patients over the years who have suffered the physical and emotional consequences of violence. And again, it's just intolerable. So for those reasons, I wrote the book and have the workshops, I speak. But this is a very special night. I've never spoken at a Take Back the Night. So thank you for welcoming me. Violence is common. I thought I would start with a few statistics. Tonight is more of a information night. My focus is on educating you on strategies that you can take for episodes of violence, sexual violence, domestic violence, and then how to heal. This is, I give lectures that are a couple hours long with a ton of details, and tonight we have a limited time, so I'm trying to give you some important things that I think hopefully you can take with you tonight. But violence is common. Unfortunately, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men will have an episode of attempted or completed sexual assault in their lifetime. 1 in 4 families have domestic violence. It's in all socioeconomic groups, all races, all religions, all sexual orientations. These are some of my patients that I've had just in the last few months who've had problems. Laura is someone I spoke about earlier at the high school event that I spoke at earlier today. I met her when she came in and she was all beat up, and it was from her boyfriend. She came in and they had gone out drinking and then decided to go to a hotel, and then he took some drugs and then he beat her up. And thankfully the person in the room next door contacted the police. The police came, and thankfully Laura got out alive. She came into the office and I talked through things with her. I've known her for a while now in the sense that we talk to her almost daily from the office. I'm not sure that Laura is ready to take steps to heal. Her mother has been impacted, that's why she's listed here. Her mom is trying so hard to support her through this, because it definitely affects not only the victim, but also the family and the community. Ashley is a young woman that met a person online. He came to her high school, she's 16, he picked her up, drove her to some area that she wasn't familiar with, sexually assaulted her, drove her back to school. When I talked to her in the office, she's not even sure what his name is. And she said he certainly wasn't a high school age kid that she thought he was from online. Danielle is a patient who in college, went off to college, thought she was prepared. This red zone is the first 6 weeks of college. She was sexually assaulted, she had a lot to drink. Alcohol is never the victim's fault if they're sexually assaulted. No one ever has a right to harm you in any way. This patient came home and we talked through the situation and steps that she can take for healing. Tanya's her roommate. Her roommate has been affected by Danielle's sexual assault. The community is affected by violence as much as the victim itself. 70% of people will have a traumatic experience in their lifetime. About 10% of women will have long-term depression and anxiety due to a traumatic event, and 20% will have post-traumatic stress disorder. People blame themselves. The victims, I see that all the time in the office. They always think it's their fault. Well, I should have done something differently. Maybe I shouldn't have gone there. I shouldn't have drank so much. They feel guilty. They somehow blame themselves for not stopping it. People who are in domestic violence situations, they learn to be passive because they don't want to upset the attacker. So they stop thinking for themselves and speaking. They lose their voice. Victims feel ashamed about what happened, so oftentimes they don't tell anyone. As a gynecologist, they'll come in, they'll want STD screening, they'll want Plan B, they'll want a form of contraception. I help them with those things and get them on the pathway towards counseling. But most of them refuse to tell the police. Violence is all about power. That's the most common factor in all of it. It's power over a person, power over the partner, power over the child. So the goal is to help these patients, help your community, help your family, help that victim regain that control over their own life, their own thoughts, their own actions, the way they want to live. But that's a long process for some people. Some people don't have a long process because it's dangerous and they have to get out now. But the most important thing is to try and support these people and give them resources, a kind word, an opportunity, so that they can regain that sense of control in their life. So today, I'm going to go through the strategies for safety and self-healing. For domestic violence, safety planning is key. Getting a network of people that you can find for safety and support. You may only know a few people. One person is better than no person. Locate some local shelters, but then also know how to get there. Figure out how you're going to get there. Have some money in your pocket so you can get there. Create some codes that you could share with your friend, meaning, I need some help. And if you have children, give them a code word to say, meaning get out. Some people where it's repetitively assault is occurring in their own home, sleeping in a public place sometimes is safer. Sleeping in the living room, for example, so that maybe that attacker won't attack you if other people in the home can see. Block your bedroom door with heavy furniture, hang bells. Maybe that won't work for everyone, but it's a strategy that can help some. If you think you're going to leave, notify that support system so that they're ready to help you when you walk out the door. Load on some safety apps. Some good safety apps are Circle of Six and Companion. It will notify your list of contacts if you run or veer off your path or you fall down, something. When you notify them that you're leaving, if something goes wrong in that path, it will notify those contacts. Have a taxi app loaded. Most of you probably do, but you need a safe way out. And know that bus schedule. You don't want to be standing at the bus schedule waiting for it to take you away. Practice a few excuses to get out of the house. Only you know what would work in your situation. But the most important thing, at least with women sometimes will flounder through an excuse because they're not maybe good at saying no, or they're maybe not good at making something up. So it's better to plan that in advance, practice those sentences so you can say them with confidence when you need to get out of there. Protect your passwords on your computer or on your phone. You don't want the attacker to know what you're doing or what you're planning or what sites you're looking at, or to somehow sabotage you because they have access to your information. Take a self-defense class. I think everyone should take a self-defense class. I said that earlier in the high school lecture. It teaches you to make protecting yourself an instinct rather than a reaction. It gives you the tools about how to protect yourself if someone grabs you from behind, what move to do to get away from them. If they try and choke you, how to break the choke. If they get you down on the ground, how to get them off of you. Wouldn't it be a great world to live in if we didn't need to know how to do that? But I would encourage you, as a doctor who takes care of people with violence, who've experienced violence, to know how to protect yourself and take a self-defense class. Make an escape bag that you hide. Call it the fire bag in case there's a fire, but have those vital documents, because without those papers, it's tough to get on your feet. Your birth certificate, a passport if you have it, a copy of your driver's license, social security card. Have some money, some real cash. Anytime you have some extra money, throw it in that bag. It all adds up. Extra set of keys for both your house and your car, a cell phone charger, and then if you have children, have their vital papers as well. I think the most important thing for safety in a domestic violence situation or partner violence and teen dating violence is education. You even have it on your wall. The foundation of every state is the education of its youth. I'm a huge fan of education. I think I went to school for 20 years or something. It is your way out. You need an education. Stay in school. It's hard when you have domestic violence or someone's harmful to you to potentially stay focused on schoolwork. It's hard to do your best work, but that's your way out. You become educated, you get a degree, you can get a job. By getting a job, you get money. By having money, you can provide for yourself and provide for your family, your children. So although it may be difficult, it's completely worth the effort to continue on in your education. Furthermore, when you're in a school, it's a place of learning, it's a place of safety. There's role models that are there. So if you're surrounded by people who are violent or unkind to you, when you go to school, there are people there. You can find people that will support you and treat you with kindness and respect, that shows you what a healthy relationship is all about. These are some hotlines for domestic violence. If you want to take a picture of it with your phone, I also have it at the booth. But these are really important and great services, and the one here in Joliet, Amir is in charge of, and it's a fantastic organization, and I encourage all of you to look into it and put this into your phone so that you're aware. Sexual assault, I talk about sexual assault a lot. It's a big part. I give workshops, college prep workshops for women heading off to college, their mother-daughter or father-daughter or guardian-daughter events. And it's really to educate them on all the hot topics that really high schools undereducate students about. The topics of sexuality, the decisions about sexuality, alcohol, date rape, drugs, all those things that unfortunately are big topics and maybe uncomfortable for parents to talk about. I'm not uncomfortable talking about. I think it's really important to educate before they go off to school, because one of the biggest problems people have is sexual assault. From the women's side, to be the victim. On the flip side, the man to be falsely accused of sexual assault. So I think people need to educate themselves to protect themselves from this all too common problem. The attacker is oftentimes someone that you know. There are definitely some things that you can do to protect yourself and make yourself a less likely victim. Forming a buddy system is really important. When you head out, don't head out on your own. When you go to college, for example, or you're on your high school campus, you may not know everybody. If you go to a party and you're there, if there's alcohol involved, you don't want to be left behind. So agree with someone in advance that you stick together no matter what. If someone's wandering off with someone, that buddy steps in and says, hey, if you really like that person, you can talk to him tomorrow when you're not at the party. You can text him tomorrow, Snapchat, email, however you want to talk to him. But here at that party, when people maybe are drinking, maybe there's drugs, it's just a risky situation. So form a buddy and always leave that party together. Load on those safety apps that I talked to you about so you can reach out to your friends in times of trouble. Have those taxi apps so that you have a safe ride home. Take that self-defense class so that you're able to protect yourself. And then practice a few situations that you can say to get yourself out of a bad situation. We do that at the workshops because a lot of times women for some reason have a hard time saying no. I don't know why that is. I even have a hard time sometimes. It's the volleyball carpool and it's not my turn to drive and I'm still driving. I'm driving 5 times in a row. Why don't I just say no? Women have a hard time with that. So if you're in a situation and someone's pressuring you to have sex or someone's trying to get you to do too many shots of alcohol, you need to be prepared. Have a sentence ready to go so you can get yourself out of that situation. Say it with confidence rather than floundering through the situation and maybe giving in just because you didn't know how to get out of it. I'd encourage you to avoid alcohol and drugs. It's so common in college campuses. All you young people are heading off. It's the root of most of the injuries that occur in college campuses and in life. Injury, alcohol poisoning, sexual assault. Avoid date rape drugs by keeping your drink covered. Maybe that sounds like common sense, but sometimes you lose track of it because you're having a great time. If you lose track of it, dump it out. It's not worth it. It's just a couple bucks. Get rid of the drink. Don't let someone else buy it for you. Go up and get your own drink. Never lose track of it. Know the warning signs of a date rape drug. If your drink turns blue, if it tastes salty, or if you're excessively tired and it makes no sense, there may be a drug in your drink. Immediately get help. Tell someone about it so they can take you to a safe place. Hopefully, a student health service or your local community hospital. Leave the party when everyone else is getting drunk. Why is that? Because the science has shown that it's the man's misperception of a woman's sexual interest in them that increases her risk of a sexual assault, and alcohol worsens that. So when everyone else is drunk in that room, it increases your risk that one of those people is going to have a misperception of your interest in them, increasing your risk of the assault. Go home. Go to a safer place. Leave with your buddy. Trust your instincts. If it doesn't seem right, it's probably not. Move along and go someplace safer. These are the hotlines, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the online chats and texts. Again, there's this sexual assault services here in Joliet, so please look into it and take advantage of it. Refer your friends. I have on here to call your doctor. When the whole thing with the Supreme Court justice happened, whether you believed that Dr. Ford or not, I believed her, but she didn't have any documentation. That was what they said. They believed that maybe it happened, but it couldn't have been him. There weren't documentation. It is what it is. Why don't you go to your doctor? That's what I wish she had done. That's what I encourage all victims to do. Maybe they don't want to go to the police. Maybe they don't want to confront someone. But if you go to your doctor, not only will your doctor do tests on you to make sure that you're healthy, they can get you on the path towards healing, but they will also document all the information. They'll put down the name, what happened, what you were wearing, what they were wearing. They'll put all the details. So if someday you decide to pursue something, it has been documented. The 15 steps to begin healing after trauma. Realize that trauma is not your fault. Too many people blame themselves. Who's to blame is the person who harmed you. You are a good person. You deserve to be loved. Try to let go of the shame and the self-blame. Positive self-talk, there's science behind this. All these 15 have science behind them. Positive self-talk, I am strong. I am worthy of love. I am a good person. I am smart. Those are things that you need to tell yourself because you've got to drown out all that negative talk that came from the person who's harming you. You've got to replace that talk in your head. Science has shown that with time and effort, you can do it. Write it down and read it to yourself, or record it and listen to it. Exercise will help you handle the emotions. So science has shown that if you can figure out what triggers your emotion, the flashback, whatever your experience was, if you get up and move your body, you get going, that you can actually overcome. It helps you feel better. Do things that make you feel safe. What makes you feel safe? Hugging your pet, or going for a walk, calling your friend, or joining an organization. Get involved. That will help you heal. Talk to someone about what's happened. Your school counselors. Talk to someone in the violence hotline or an online chat. Professional counseling, though, truly is the important piece of fully healing. Keep a journal on your nightstand. So many people, after some form of violence, they can't sleep. And a lot of times it's because in the middle of the night it's just swirling in their head. They're reliving it or rehashing it. So if you keep a journal on your nightstand, and when you wake up with that, don't turn on your phone, don't turn on the lights. You don't even need to see what you're doing. Just reach over for that paper and write it down. Because science has shown that if you transfer that to someplace else, oftentimes you can let it go. Schedule a personal worry session. This is a common counseling technique. You schedule a time in your day where you go all in on what you're worried about. For me, that's 6 a.m. to 6:30. Go all in. I'm worried about my daughter who's in Boston. I'm worried that I haven't walked my dog enough. I'm worried about giving a lecture. I'm worried that I need to pay the bills. Whatever it is, everyone has their things that they're worried about. If you actually schedule a time that you put those things in, and then you go all in, and you think about that professor who gave me a bad grade in my whatever, my sister took the car, my mom is being such a jerk, whatever it is, go all in, get upset, and then when the time is up, you have to let it go. You have another list where you write down everything that you have to tackle that day. It prevents you from rehashing and swirling that people so often do, especially people who've had a trauma. Relaxation techniques, breathing, yoga, all of those have been found to be helpful. Art therapy. Art therapy is very therapeutic. Drawing, painting, anything creative. It helps you get rid of the anger. Choose your friends wisely. Who you surround yourself influences your behaviors. It's really important to make friends that have a positive attitude, that think highly of you, that support your causes and who you are. They're not trying to tell you what to wear and tell you how to walk and tell you you can't go with those friends or that family. They're not trying to control you. They're celebrating you. They like you. They're positive. They're moving forward. Find people with similar interests so that you can move forward. You can stay in school and move forward in a positive direction for the rest of your life. And then give yourself a break. No one's perfect. Everyone has a bad day. So give yourself a break. Tomorrow's a new day. Be kind to yourself as you heal. Plan some fun activities. Science has shown if you have something to look forward to, you will have more emotional support and confidence and self-esteem. Develop new healthy relationships built on mutual respect, trust, and equality. That's the key to moving forward. Replacing those people that were harmful to you with people that are respectful of you, kind, that you trust, and treat you as an equal. Reach out to someone else in need. If you volunteer to help others, it does bring you personal joy. It reaffirms and reinforces the good person that you are and helps you rebuild your self-esteem. And last, realize that the trauma does not define you. You define you. Don't let that person keep the power over you by giving you the definition. You get to decide who you are and where you're going, what's important to you. Make your own definition and create your own path. So the important thing, and what I've seen with the patients, is that they need to break the cycle of violence. And those who do are inspiring. They've realized that it is within them. And I see the potential in all of you, that you have the ability to move forward, to rise up, to find the strength. You do have it within you, the resilience and the power over your own life. You deserve love, you deserve respect, you deserve kindness. So thank you so much for having me here tonight, and I hope we all together can take back the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Scanlon, for bestowing this important message to our community, and we really appreciate the time that you spent with us today at Joliet Central High School with our students as well. And now a song for our survivors and our supporters here tonight.
Get this off my chest to let it go. We march for those who cannot. We speak for the voiceless and for those not yet listed here. May they never be on this list. 2009, Brittany Brooks. Monica Tamar. Angela R. Charles. Kashia Tate. Hallie Burton. Nicola Williams. Sabrina Clement. Lakita S. Felton. Tashika Smith. 2010, Tressa E. McCauley. Nicole A. Rodriguez. Nevaeh S. Hunt. Carolyn Sadler. Nancy Mendoza Roja. Delana Kroom. Baby boy Abu El Kir. 2011, Kathleen A. Lewis. Wenlin T. Tida. Shirley Marzo. 2012, Gloria Clark. Alicia N. Bromfield Anisich. Ava Lucille Bromfield Anisich. Cynthia Clark Long. Kathleen Savio. Dorothy Domian. Veronica Sheik. And Nermeen Sam. 2013, Diane Nichols. Jeannie Parker. Beatrice Osborne. Kiara Hosey. Joan Smith. Alicia Cornell.
(2014), Brianna Violet. Charlita Green. Jocelyn M. Woods. 2015, Tiana M. Wallace. Jordan Williamson. Janicia Hill King. Laura V. Gonzalez. Susan Triplett Cunningham. (2016), Jamie L. Willis. Diane Swearingen. Mary Ciano. Jessica Giannina Thomas. Sequita M. Walsh. Destiny D. Tillman. 2017, Angel Morgan, Samaji Crosby, Royalty Blue Rogers, Regina Rogers, Jaquita Rogers, Kia Johnson, Soraya Griffin, Michaela Henning, Addison Henning, Gabriella Ruda, Elaine Zena, Katie Kearns, Aaliyah Salazar, (2018). Marissa Kozia, Jennifer Underhill, Rebecca Kazeki, Mercedes Flakes, Ashley Tucker, Melissa Steen, Danica Ford, 2019. Jacqueline Gaskin, Gianna Lee, Giovanni Lee, Teresa Carlego, Kamiki Trust, Tamala Clayton, Colton Miller,
We have 74 names that we have read tonight. I do want to thank all of our volunteers, but I also want to acknowledge how many people are here standing in the place of their own family, friends, their mothers, their their daughters, their sisters, their grandchildren. We have a lot of people who are standing in for their loved ones. So I do want to take time to acknowledge how hard that must be to stand in their place, and thank you so much for honoring them by being here tonight. A round of applause for our volunteers. We all can see. So hopefully reading those names has given you some energy tonight. The idea that we don't want to add another name to our list for next year. We want it to end where it ended tonight, to show that we are addressing domestic violence in our community and that this community is a place that won't accept abusers and people who perpetuate violence. So the way we do that for Take Back the Night is that we have a rally. So this is a part where we march together, we let everyone know who wasn't here tonight that they should have been here tonight, and we're letting those survivors who are still at home know that their community, Will County, supports them, that this is a place where they have love and they know where they can get help. So if you can turn in your program booklet, I want to highlight the marching route for you. So it's after the program, we have our beautiful picture of Dr. and Susan Scanlon, and below that we've got our march. So, we will be led by our drummers from here from Joliet Central. Right, drummers? Can I get a little beat? Great, we got one on top. All right, so they will be leading us tonight. I do want to take this time to thank all the staff here at Joliet Central for being fantastic hosts, putting out all the chairs tonight. So a round of applause for Joliet Central. So your marching route is you're going to go back into the auditorium or the atrium, take a right, we're going to meet in the circle that's out those doors, like the north-facing doors. You're going to follow the drummers down Van Buren. You're going to take a left on Jefferson Street where it turns around. You're going to take another left on Cass, take a left on Eastern, take another left on Jefferson. You should end up back on this side of the Student Center, and that is our march. But you have a job while you're out there. You're not just marching, you are loud, right? We're taking back the night. So we want some chants, we want some cheers. If you made some signs, hold them up, get some people honking at you. Let people know that Will County will not tolerate any more domestic violence by being loud, okay? Right? Right?